What's up guys, Evil here for a free mod / handling tip for your SCX24. The SCX24 out of the box is really boingy. Like it just rides like a wagon. There's absolutely no dampening whatsoever. These have just minuscule shocks on them. They're just friction shocks. There's no emulsion or anything. But I did take them off and check them out and noticed that they have removable caps. So I decided to kind of do what we used to do on the old friction shocks back in the day, and I filled them with grease. So it does come out of the bottom a little bit, and maybe it's a little bit messy, but what it does is it slows down the dampening on the shocks quite a bit. So going from being like a boingy, oversprung trail rig, it now has a stance and kind of a wet sponge kind of splat to it that a normal trail rig would have. The other side effect of doing this, I notice, is that the springs do not have enough tension to overcome all of the new resistance or the new dampening in the shock. So as a result, this thing has a little bit lower stance than it does out of the box. So it's a little more of like kind of a droop setup. It'll still decompress when you're climbing over rocks or whatnot, but you'll have a lower center of gravity when you're just kind of cruising around. It just barely sits off of the bump stops, but the trade-off is huge. Anyway, here's a quick little how-to on how to do it, and I'll stop blabbing and we'll get to it. And then there's some running at the end. You can check it out and see the difference. I found what works for a wheel wrench. If you have one of these little Tamiya 4-ways, these fit these wheel nuts perfectly. Alright, much easier to get at the shock with the wheel off. Your budget kits will come with grease-filled shocks. I think just making an oil-filled shock this small would be nearly impossible. So some grease in there, cover it up, and cycle it. Kind of distribute the grease in there a little bit, and all this does is just slows things down a little, give you some dampening. These are not for people with big fingers like myself. Main reason I've always avoided micros. We'll see if we can illustrate the difference here. Anyway, that's pretty telling. You can see the difference. Damp side. So anyway, there it is after the mod has been done. You can see the truck now. It's still bouncy from the tires, but the suspension is not near as boingy as it was. And I just test drove it on the rocks, and it is way more composed. It's more controlled when you unload, you know, a side of it. It doesn't want to just flip over quite as easy. It has more of a controlled unload of the suspension, so it's not quite as violent when it you know, gets real heavy on one corner. Huge difference. Like I say, it's probably a little messy if the grease comes out of the bottom of the shocks, but if you don't like it, you can always buzz them out with some, or spray them out with some WD-40, you know, to get rid of it. But I really like the difference that it made on my truck. So anyway, that's it. Thanks guys for watching. If you try this mod and you like it, post up down there, down below, and let me know what you think. Maybe it's awful for some people, I don't know. But I like the difference that it made on the truck. So if you like the content on my channel, if you would, hit like, maybe hit the subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. I will catch you guys on the next one.